mate. How you going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Oh, awesome. A beautiful night here in Australia. Weather's warm, bit windy, but yeah, can't complain. Sun's out, so it's good to have the sun out.
Nice. Yeah, it's midday here and it's freezing and miserable and already getting dark. So yeah,
Well, what, you've only got 10 days left of that before you make your way
Y-
down to New Zealand and Australia?
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very, very sweet. I love how we can sometime prolong summer. We leave on tour, early spring, way early spring in May or March or something like that, and then we get home to the darkness here in November or something like that. It's perfect.
Hey, it works. I did the same thing this year. I actually went over the back and got to see Dark
Yeah.
Tranquillity live. It was great.
Oh,
I got
nice.
to extend
Cool,
my
cool,
summer.
cool.
Yeah, the mud was
Hmm.
a little bit extreme. I won't lie.
I didn't see much of it, but the things that I saw and even like the backstage area was insane. Of course, they made they did their best, but
They
it
did.
was pretty rough.
Well, you actually said it best yourself on stage. You said, "Well, I heard they turn people away here, but it looks like everyone is here." Because I remember
Yeah,
it was hard to get close to you guys, and I remember just
yeah,
seeing it all covered. You would have never have known
yeah.
it. It was just a lot of
That was
people
true.
there.
Yeah, it was great. It was really great, but yeah, it must have sucked not to be able to get in and we were worried, of course, like leaving from Sweden, going like, is the festival even happening? I was on the phone with some of my friends who were there. It's like, are you getting in? It's like, no, they haven't opened. Oh fuck! But yeah, it did work out, and
It
it was
did.
pretty awesome.
It
Yeah,
did. It was definitely a special experience. I walked away with more mud than I knew I could be covered in, but I guess that's a good first experience in Germany.
yeah. Oh yeah, it was from your first time. Holy shit! Oh wow.
It was, it was. But the important thing is, you're coming down to Australia and New Zealand. This is your first time here. It'd be getting close to 8 years now, Doctor. I'm trying to think the last time I saw
Yeah,
you guys.
yeah. It was 8 years ago. It's embarrassing. Like, but yeah, it and it sucks, and it's a first time ever in New Zealand. So it's really is about time, and I really hate like being away or missing out, on seeing people.
Yeah.
Not everybody can travel to Wacken, So, but it's been a bunch of different reasons, but it's too bad. But hopefully, it's not going to be another 8 years to next time.
No, that's it. Well, now you've got a couple of bands that can tour down this way, so you've got the excuse
Yeah,
to tour here a bit more frequently,
I
even when
do, I do. Yes,
it's going to be a bit different. Like the Halo Effect kind of blew up huge. Like
yeah,
bands release side projects, and they do great. Don't get me wrong. Some don't do,
yeah,
some a bit. But you
yeah,
guys came out the gate swinging. I mean, you even played the main stage of VAC and what the very day the album was released. Like
yeah,
huge.
yeah,
How's
yeah. So
been the
it was.
reception?
Oh, it has been great, and I think part of the reason why is that we had enough time to kind of plan it and record it and write it. We started the band in 19, and but that was just an idea basically, and a few songs that we started sending to each other and started talking about it. But then in 2020, when the pandemic was a fact, and all of a sudden, like, we had all this time on our hands, and we started writing for real and started taking it, yeah, more seriously, basically.
Mm.
So, and then we recorded the album, and we had like a year and a half or something like that until release, so we could definitely plan it and make all the videos and do all those things so that you can do like this very um premeditated or planned release, which was great. Normally that's something that you always have to rush, when
Yeah.
you're recording an album, then you have a couple months before the album comes out and you do all the press and all that stuff. But we had, at the time, it felt like unlimited time,
Yeah.
and that was great. And but it was cool, and there was a lot of excitement from a lot of people for the project and the band. So we played like Sweden Rock, which is Sweden's biggest festival, and we did it. What was it, like 2 months before the album came out? We only had two singles, and we still played the main stage, and it was kind of ridiculous. And it was our first ever show,
Yeah.
and it
Wow.
was in front of the entire festival, like 25,000 people or something like that. No pressure. it
No.
was it was so that was insane. But super cool as well. Like and kind of like the idea was, of course, to to kind of join together with old friends and have a fantastic time, and just write music together. But of course, we knew that people would have expectations and look forward to this, but we couldn't have expected what actually happened. So it's very, very, very cool.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I wish I remember who said this quote, because I use it all the time. And one day I'll find out. But they always say you have your whole life to write your first album. Now, you've gone in and you've done a new album, new band, but with old friends. Did it feel fresh? Was the recording process different to, say, doing Dark Tranquillity, or writing process different? Or did it just kind of naturally fall together?
Yeah, but it was very different. And it was doing your first album, but also having 30 years of experience when doing a first album. And I think that was the key thing for it, because we could just go on instinct, basically. Nicholas is the kind of guy who just sits down with the guitar and he starts writing immediately, and that's what Jesper does as well. And when Daniel hears the song, and he just knows exactly what to do and what to play, and I'm the same way. I just I get a demo of a song and I go like, this is not, this is my wheelhouse. I understand this. I know this. I've known this music for 30 years. So it was kind of easy to get going, and so it was very immediate. The first couple of songs that we wrote was just kind of like, yep, got it. I know what this is. Writing some words, recording some stuff, go,
Yeah.
And so that made it really kind of enjoyable and fun, just because there was no expectation. There was no one to write for or to, it was just us. We wrote for each other, basically. Like, I wanted to impress the other guys and they wanted to impress me, and that's what kind of the thing. So it was great fun, and also that made for this kind of very loose writing process and recording, where we had recorded most of the songs already when we decided to kind of send some to labels, and see if anyone was interested. And so that was easy. And then we actually started, a second album, and that, all of a sudden, you start thinking a little bit more. So it's different, where you go like, now there are expectations there weren't before. So that's the difference. And of course, I'm sitting here writing the upcoming Dark Tranquillity album now, and I can't sleep and I can't think about anything else. It's just that, because there's so much expectation and so much pressure from myself and from the other guys, and because you have to do something new, for the 14th time, whatever it is. So that's very, very different. Very much rewarding in a way, but the process of getting there just gets harder and harder. So this was kind of like a fresh new start, and kind of like a new take on something that we all kind of knew so well. But yeah, again, since we didn't have any expectations or no one knew what it was, we could do anything, and that's very liberating. You could you could forget about anything and just let's go. This is easy. Write about anything. No one cares. Not just yet, anyway.
And did that kind of recharge the batteries? Not that you've ever been flat, but going back and writing Dark Tranquillity now after doing Halo Effect, was there a bit of freshness going in there? Now, I don't know if you've ever seen it, and it's probably something a bit big to bring up, but I've seen lists over the years where they go metal bands who have never released a bad album. Every single list I've ever seen, I don't know if you've seen it, Dark Tranquillity is always on that list. They're just like, Dark Tranquillity has always been consistent, always good albums. I don't know if you've seen it, but have you ever felt the pressure to kind of live up to that moniker?
Always, of course. I mean, I don't know about pressure, because if you start thinking too much about, what people will think, then you're screwed. Then you won't get anywhere. But of course, I want it to be better than anything we've ever done, Otherwise, what's the point, really? So it has to be fantastic. It has to be different. It has to be, something that we can be proud of for years to come. That kind of thing. So of course the pressure is on, and and I have seen videos like that and lists like that, and it's amazing to see. And then of course that is absolutely something that we strive for, because if you start thinking about it just like another album or something like that, then then you shouldn't do it in the first place, you know?
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot like this last year because we've been writing more or less for a year. And we realized that this has to matter, like more than anything, you know, this has to be like the most important album, you know, it has to be, because the last one was the most important, and this has to be even more importanter, you know. You know, it has to make even more, make more of an impact, and at least to us, you know. So that's always the thing. And so right now we're in full stress, panic, and anxiety mode, which is always a treat, you know.
Keeps you young, keeps you on your toes.
Yeah. And I have to go away from the studio for 2 weeks to see some other guys on the other side of the planet. So I'm rushing now. I have 1 week more to record some stuff, and then I'm off for a while. And then, but we're gonna finish the album before New Year's.
Oh, fantastic. I can't wait to hear it as well. And that's the one thing about Dark Tranquillity setlist. And you said something about some bands do just put out albums because, you know, it's been 3 years, time to put out an album. Noticing when I saw your set at Backen, you played songs of, it almost felt like every single album you've had come out for your whole catalogue. Almost.
Yeah.
And people just seem to really get into, it doesn't matter how old or new the song was, everyone was just really enjoying it. And that just kind of shows the level of care you put into releasing new music, and the halo effect, of course, as well.
Yeah.
Just how everyone's loved that.
We only play old music, you know, we focus on the first album, you know, it's special to us. No, but it's true, and I think that's something that we're gonna do more with Dark Tranquillity as well, because like the guys in the band right now are excited to play like the super old stuff just because we haven't done it together, and let's try, you know, songs that we haven't never played before, or let's dig deep, you know, those, you know, the deep cut, so to speak, you know, from older albums, and it's a lot of fun to kind of rediscover your own kind of back catalog stuff that I have almost forgotten, you know, or haven't listened to in forever. You go like, oh, what the hell were we thinking? And then, oh, it actually works. And then we put it out. So it's been great. And we're going to keep doing that because, you know, we're of course incredibly proud of, you know, the catalog, and also, you know, all the songs that we've been playing for a long time, but also the stuff that we just haven't. So but of course, you know, making a set list is always a nightmare, so we try to change it up and do it different every day.
I guess it's probably a bit easier with the halo effect because you've only got the one album now. I know you've been playing some new songs live as well.
We have, yeah.
Coming up to the Australian tour, are we going to hear those songs you've been playing since I think February, or are we going to get something new?
I think we're going to play those, and we're not really ready to play anything else new just yet. We haven't tried it out yet, but no, but it's cool because, you know, we had the luxury of time, you know, when we recorded the first album, that we recorded a lot more material than we needed, and we wrote a lot of songs during that time. So you know, going into album number 2, we were already, you know, halfway there, kind of, which was great. So that's why we kind of started trying some songs even before we recorded them. And that was fun. And then, but now the album is done, but we're still going to record a few more songs, I think, at the beginning of next year, just to fill it out and make it even more interesting, because it's coming out late next year. And so we have some more time to kind of make it even more special. And so it's awesome. It's going to be a busy year next year.
You're a busy man. It seems like you just don't have time.
2 or maybe 3 albums coming out in 1 year. So
you did mention you kind of had not all the time in the world, but I guess when the world shut down, it seemed like you had all the time in the world to do that first album. Doing this second album, how's the writing process been now? There is deadlines. There is kind of like, okay, we're going to do this. We're touring here. This is where I can record. This is when I can't. How's that going?
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of difficult first, but against this, we had like a head start, and like the album was done like a year before it was released, so we were already ready to kind of go into the studio as the album was coming out. So a lot of the songs are recorded already, and most of the stuff is done, which is great. It's just and I think what separates the first from the second is that, you know, the first one was kind of us figuring out what to do, figuring out what kind of music we want to make, and kind of getting to know each other musically. And with the second one, immediately when I heard some of the songs, I was like, wow, this has a totally different level of confidence, you know. This is kind of Niklas and Jesper and you know, Peter going like, hey, this is, we know what we want to do now, you know, and we can make even more of what we think was the best aspects of the first album. So that's how I think of it now that I listen to some of the songs, and it's like it has this confidence and kind of assuredness, you know, that I think it really runs through it. So it sounds fantastic. I'm incredibly proud of it so far. So it's going to be very, very cool.
I love the
we're going to
word.
start like, yeah.
Yeah, I love the word confidence for it as well, because I'm just thinking now, it's like, yeah, I guess the first album was the first album. This is kind of you going, hey, this is the new sound we've got.
Yeah.
We hope you like it. This is kind of what we're doing. We wrote this for us. If you guys like
Yeah.
it, awesome, but we love it. But you've kind of gotten that confidence now because everyone did. And you're like, right, this is what we're going to do. This is who we are. This is the Halo effect. Let's go.
Yeah. And because there were no expectations at all when we were writing the first one. It's like when we didn't even have, you know, it wasn't directed at anyone or for anyone. It was just like, hey, trying to kind of impress each other and do something for each other and go like, hey, this is going to be fun. This is going to be cool. And then let's see what happens. So that was cool to just have like a totally open canvas when we started, you know, and no expectations. And I think, you know, as we talked about, I think that was kind of reinvigorating, because then it's fun to kind of go into that, the normal, okay, the more difficult stuff that I also do, you know.
Yeah. How did Matt I'm going to say something. Props to you guys for not mentioning it on the album, because I got the vinyl. It didn't say anything on it. Matt Heafy's cameo. Because I'm a big Trivium fan. Just halfway through the song.
But it says, but it's just not like featuring, but it's there. You know, he gets credit for it, obviously.
Yeah.
It was really cool because we talked about it, and of course I've known Matt for a while, and when he heard about this, he contacted like Jesper. It's like, hey, I want to hear it. I want to be, you know, can I be a part of something? Can I just like scream one word, you know, whatever? And we were like, okay, well, we actually have this cool part for it, you know, that we were working on. So it just made sense, and you know, and what's cool, you know, I think like Matt wrote to me or someone in DT in like the mid 90s or something like that, going like, you know, he wanted to come over to Sweden, just see what it was like. And I, you know, we told him like, yeah, we rehearsed like, you know, in one corridor, and the first door is DT, the second is Dissection, the third one is at the gates, and the fourth one is In Flames, you know. And it's like, I want to come there, you know, or just fucking bring a tape recorder and record some stuff. I want to hear it, you know. But so he's been there, you know, ever since this kind of music started. So it just made kind of sense to bring him in, and hopefully, you know, our paths somewhere will cross, you know, that he can join us on stage for it. It would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. And knowing Matt, he's a very social guy. So I'm sure if you're ever in town the same time he is, he would absolutely jump at that opportunity.
Of course. Yeah.
But coming back to the Australian tour, and actually, before I get into that, playing Halo Effect shows compared to playing like a Dark Tranquillity show, and you've played both in the same year now, both in a 6-month period.
Yeah.
Do you feel a different energy on stage? Do you feel a different reaction from the fans, or is it kind of like blurring lines at this point in time?
No, but I think it is different. Like the tours we've done have been very different. It's a different kind of audience, and I think maybe we have. Yeah, I think that's at least what I see. You know, it's a different kind of energy, different kind of crowd. Of course, there's a lot of, you know, old DT fans, old In Flames fans, and that kind of stuff. But it's a bit different, especially in Scandinavia, because I think when it was kind of announced and when the first singles came out, you know, a lot of new people came in because we did this, I don't know, very serious promotional campaign. So I think maybe we attracted more people outside of, you know, the normal melodic death metal sphere. Yeah. So that's been interesting. But I think, of course, it's great whenever we pull out, you know, old songs during a DT set, or we play something unexpected, or we play something extremely expected. It's fantastic, you know.
Yeah.
And we have a totally different, of course, like a visual sense with projections and images like that when we play shows normally. So it's very different, and of course that that is, of course, intentional. You know, it's important to have like a different kind of identity, and it wouldn't make sense for me, you know, if it kind of felt and looked the same. And also, I think what attracted me to this when we started was to kind of get to see Nicholas and Peter and Daniel kind of play together, you know, because they've been in a band for such a long time and they have this great chemistry together. And so that for me, that's part of the appeal, you know, just like being on stage together and hearing them kind of just gel so like effortlessly together. That is amazing to me.
Yeah, and the chemistry is just unreal, and it shows. It's different to see it live because you see chemistry live, but to feel it through the album, that was a big thing. And my brother's going to be a little bit annoyed that I mentioned this, but he actually picked up his guitar for the first time in 8 years after listening to the first Halo Effect album, and he hasn't stopped since. Yes, he became a father. Awesome. The guitar got very dusty. Now he doesn't stop. I get a new video every week.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. That's what it should be like. If it can inspire someone, you know, it's like, hey, if I feel a need to kind of, you know, sing or play or something like that. I mean, that's what it should be. Like, that's how I got into this. You know, when I started singing, I was like listening to a few albums, like, oh, I need to do this. Like, that's amazing.
No,
very cool.
No. You had to know because it is it's a big thing. And sometimes I guess you might forget that as you go along that, oh, well, my music does inspire people or even people to restart up a passion that they kind of lost years ago. So I think that was something truly special, and it's made me a very happy man. So thank you guys for doing that for him.
Makes me happy too.
Yeah. But coming down to Australia, one thing I wanted to ask, and I've been asking a few other people, do you have any interesting Australian stories? Oh, you've been here a few times now. We're a bit of a rowdy audience because at the moment, it seems like every band and their dog's coming down here. But to get European bands down here is something special. And I feel the crowds are very energetic whenever you guys come down here. Do you have any stories, shows, or just being in the cities themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I always loved that, you know, getting to a country or playing a city like for the first time and seeing like people who have waited, you know, 10, 15, 20 years or more, you know, it's amazing. So the first time we went to Australia, it was just incredible and not really knowing what to expect. Of course, you hear the stories, you can see videos, but you know, nothing really prepares you for that kind of experience. And we were not disappointed, that for sure. And so it has been a blast every time. Like it's been 3 tours, I think, with a few years in between. So it's cool to have seen it kind of grow, and I think you can definitely tell like there's something special. But when there's a European band coming, you know, we played with a couple of Australian bands, and you know, of course that maybe they're used to it or something like that. But it used to be the same thing here, you know, when I was 25 or 20 or something like that, when you get American bands to Sweden, you know, our tiny little, you know, country in the north, and you could actually see the bands that you only dreamed of, you know, and I feel the same way actually with some Australian bands. Like I got to see Carnival, one of my favorite bands, like 6 months ago. Then it was the first time they were in Sweden. And I was like, oh, it's amazing. So but I think like what I look forward to the most is just like hanging out, like seeing people, you know. Sure, I meet a lot of Australians sometimes, you know, in Europe or, you know, on 70K, you know, the heavy metal boat in the Caribbean sometimes. But other than that, you know, like that's what I look forward to, and just like hanging out and like getting the feel, you know, for the country and the cities, and hanging out, drinking beer. I really look forward to it.
Speaking of drinking beer as well, Lagerfest, do you know what you're getting into with this tour?
I am not. Well, I have prepared my liver for 30 plus years, so I think I am prepared in that sense. But no, I don't really know what it is.
Okay, right before I talked to you, I was speaking to the boys from Lagerstein, and if you've ever seen, they don't know what they're bringing to this tour. They didn't tell me, but in the past they've had jumping castles for people to be in. They've played board and beard games after in between sets. They've had a dunk tank where they get a band member to sit, and if people get the basketball through the hoop, they fall into the dunk tank. But they have a thing, and this is what Lagerfest try to do. And I've been kind of advising everyone. In fact, I told Jennifer from Beyond the Black this the other day. Do you know, and you've been to Australia a few times, but do you know what a shoey is?
A shoey.
Yeah, a
Drink
shoey.
beer from a shoe.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm guessing, but I think I've heard something about that.
So don't be surprised if the guys from Lagerfest try to get you on one of the nights out there to drink a beer from your shoe.
If it's my shoe, I think it's going to be fine. No, it's going to be horrible, but I'll live. I think. Oh wow.
Yeah, I think they'll be very impressed if you do it, because everyone's kind of a bit. But you know what? Before this, they made me do one on the actual Zoom call. It definitely tasted like I was walking in that shoe all day. So maybe bring a fresh pair just to keep to the side.
Good. Yeah, thanks for that tip. It's good. No, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm a huge beer geek, and so is Peter and Daniel, and so that part of that is just exciting. Drinking adding some new beers to my untapped list and that kind of stuff.
I think you're going to enjoy it, especially the Froth and Fury in Adelaide at the actual Pirate Life Brewery. Pirate Life's one of my favorite beers. I don't know if you've ever tried it. It's amazing.
No, I haven't.
Very fruity. They've got a lot of different. They've got the lagers, pale ales, but if you, I recommend getting a tasting board or something where you can have a little bit.
Oh, hell yeah, I always do. I mean,
that's the way to go.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, that part I'm really excited about. And I noticed, like, when we were in Australia, it was 8 years ago, like you could tell like the craft beer scene had really kind of blown up, and like it was happening, and you could get some fantastic stuff in every city, and that was really exciting to me. Because the first time it was just, okay, where's the VB, and that was it. But now it's happening. So Peter runs a brewery, so we're gonna have a few more coming this summer. This was super interesting and cool, and part of the fun. And with DT we do it as well. So I love it. That's going to be.
I'd love to get the beers to Australia, but I know importing all the way from one side of the world to the other is a little tricky.
Yeah, exporting from Sweden it's not easy. They don't like that.
No. So
you have to get a guy who knows a guy who will go out and buy it and then ship it and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Next time I'm over there, I think 2025, I'm coming back over. So I'll make
all right, cool.
I'll grab some. I'll definitely grab some. But mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. I cannot wait for you guys to come down here. Do you have anything you want to say to the Australian and New Zealand fans for the first time before you arrive?
We're just incredibly excited, and we're sorry that it's taken this long, and really grateful and happy that we get to do it. So we're going to make the most of it. It's going to be fantastic, and can't wait to see you guys.
I can't wait to see you guys as well. I'll be in Sydney. Maybe we'll even have a beer. But mate, thank you so much. Safe flight as well. We'll see you soon.